This is the amazing Beka Callaway, who's A&R at Razor and Tie. I'm Tina Schaefer from New York Songwriters Circle, and this is one of my most favorite people who loves amazing songs the way I do. But she has something cool to tell you, which is that she's going to be teaching a course with her future husband at Belmont East. And so here's Beka Callaway to tell you a little about that and some songs.
So we are teaching a class entitled Entertainment in New York City for this fall for Belmont East. Belmont's a school in Nashville that has a music business program, and they bring like 20 students to New York in the fall, and so we're hopefully, it's going to be like a survey class covering all the aspects of the entertainment industry that New York has to offer, which is, very different than Nashville. In Nashville you mainly have, publishing and records, and both on the Christian and country side primarily, although there are other genres of music represented. In New York, you've got sports and advertising and, fashion and, music and Broadway and all sorts of things. So we'll be covering all of that. So it's going to be really exciting.
That is so
That's great.
Cool.
Yeah.
And what a great person to teach it.
I know.
Oh, my goodness. And how long is the course for? It's a whole semester?
A whole semester, so August to December.
August to December. And that's in Belmont East, and that's here in New York City?
Yeah.
Awesome.
That's great.
Yeah.
So, well, thank you for that little tidbit, unexpected tidbit.
You're welcome.
But I guess what we're trying to do is build up some blogs on the site, just for people who come to the site, writers from all over, just want to know about songs and people in the business who are into songs the way that we are. And so I guess what I would ask you is, when you hear a great song, what is the first thing that resonates with you when you hear that song?
I mean, what's the first thing that sort of usually captures
Yes,
me?
yes.
A melody. Usually a melody. Like, just a really distinct melody that makes me want to get in and listen to the lyric. And then, so it's usually, for me, melody first and then lyric next. But they're this close to each other, It's if it's a really boring melody, then I have to, listen a little harder to be able to get into the lyric. But if the melody grabs me immediately, I want to know kind of like, what does the song have to say? Like, I want to know more immediately. So that's usually the way I listen. Although there's, sometimes those songs that that has just a really simple, whatever melody, but the lyric is so amazing. But usually I found melody usually attracts me first.
Now, how much is a performance when you hear a performance? And I know this is something that was kind of cryptic last year about a contest, but how much of a performance goes into drawing you in with a song?
Obviously if you have a great singer, that always helps. But for me, it's song first. Like, if there's an amazing song, and someone, as long as they're not butchering it, as long as they're effectively sort of conveying the song, it doesn't matter to me. Like, there doesn't have to be, whether it's a person on a piano, a person on a guitar, or a full-blown band, like, that really doesn't affect the way I listen to the song. And I think a lot of that comes from starting in publishing and being in Nashville and hearing work tapes. And a lot of times, the songs that we pitched were work tapes. So, something that had just been created. I remember the first time I heard the song, There Goes My Life, which ended up being a gigantic #1 for Jenny Chess. It was like #1 for 9 or 10 weeks. Our writer, Neil Thrasher, wrote the song, and he came in and he played a work tape for us, and I was in tears. It was so amazing. And it was just, there weren't any bells and whistles. It was just
the pure
beauty.
Yeah.
Just in such an amazing, organic, sort of infantile stage in a way. The very first, it's like he had just given birth to the song, and we were able to sort of take part in that. It was amazing.
It's always cool when you play somebody when you've just finished writing a song and you're in that amazing place with the song when you've just given birth to it and you're like, here's my baby, and then the person responds in that same way that the love that you feel.
So those are special moments.
So you started in publishing?
Yes. I started off in music publishing. I worked for Destin Songs, which was Desmond Child's publishing company. I worked in the Nashville office. It was an amazing opportunity. I worked with, world-class writers. My first job, I thought that was normal. It was unbelievable. I didn't realize at the time. I knew it was really special, but sort of as I've progressed in my career and gone on, like, I look back and think, they were my mentors. This was my family, and they continue to be so. And so I just learned about great songs from the best, really. So it was amazing.
And what brought you to New York?
BMI.
BMI.
I got a job at BMI in writer-publisher relations, which was amazing. And so I got to come here and get to know everyone and sort of be very neutral and meet everyone and not,
Right, and it's a neutral place.
It's an amazing neutral place. And it's all about, it was a perfect extension of my publishing job because I was helping writers. And then I came on and I was helping writers and artists, in a different world, but same thing, and it was amazing because you got to do all sorts of really great things,
So I guess this was a question that was asked to me as someone was doing a little documentary on the Circle, and I'm going to parlay this question on to you, but you and I have been in the business a long time, me a little longer, but long enough to have experienced songs in many shapes and forms with many different types of productions. What do you think over the years, how has the song changed, or has it changed through all these years that we've been in this business? What has changed, or what hasn't?
I think right now it's, unfortunately, I think a majority of the songs, it's not about the song as much, it's about, the beat or the production, I think there's still those songs that are just unbelievable and really resonate with people, but I think a lot of what's sort of being churned out is it's just more production driven, and I think people are still starving for great songs. I mean, why does one song take off as opposed to another one? Usually the ones that sort of really take off are ones that have a lyric that really resonates with someone. It's like, think back all the major events in your life. You can usually attach some sort of music to that.
The song remembers when.
Exactly. Your first dance, something you heard when your first child was born. When you met your husband for the first time. Things like that, or just being in your car or on your computer or whatever, and hearing a song and thinking, oh man, I remember where I was when I heard that for the first time.
Right.
I danced with my high school boyfriend to that song or something, So I think songs are still so important.
Right. And would you say, I would just say in response to that, my answer was as well that the one thing that really doesn't change over time is the way a song touches you and the way a great song just exists to me in time, 200 years from now, 200 years before. It's just a simple piece of art and science that comes together that resonates and touches you in a very deep place. So,
very true.
Yeah.
Very true.
So, well, I'm glad we agree on that.
Yeah.
Now we get to be on the blog.
Yes.
Thank you so
Awesome.
much,
Thank
Beka.
you.
Oh,
Thank
you're
you.
welcome. Beka Callaway. Thank you
Okay.
to keep her blog.
Yeah, no problem.